Hello everyone. Till now we have covered some ceramic applications in the field of dielectric ceramics and conducting ceramics. Now we are going to semiconductor part of the ceramic applications. As we have discussed in earlier class that semiconductors having conductivity in between metals and insulators. And in the conductivity in the semiconductor is depending on valence band and the conduction band energy levels. The most commonly used semiconducting material is silicon and some other like germanium also. And this gallium arsenide has found recent interest because it enables a considerable increase in electronic speed. The primary interest in semiconductors is in the junction, which have different concentration of electrons. And impurities. Silicon material can be doped with impurities by way of gas diffusion. So we can say that this is N type or this is P type based on the what kind of impurity in there. So the junction between these areas forms diodes. These regions can be designated by a P for deficiency of electron or N for an excess of electron. So P means there is hole conductivity, and for N that means electron conductivity is there. So a PNP or an NPN structure produces a solid state transistor. So the device basically are the diodes and transistors by which there are numerous applications of semiconductors. This is a chart of electromagnetic spectrum from the ultraviolet region to the infrared region. These are the so you can see this is the visible region, and here wavelength in the micrometer ranging from 0.01 to 1000 micrometer. See below this visible there is ultraviolet region that has some distinctive like near, far and extreme ultraviolet region. Same like in the right side there is infrared region, there is near, medium, far and extreme far infrared region. As you can see in this when we go from left to right, the wavelength is increasing, and that photonic energy that is in the electron volt that is reducing, or you can say that is increasing inversely as wavelength increasing and that photon energy is reducing. So this has the reciprocal relationship. Based on these wavelength that has different color, violet, blue, green, based on these wavelength that different types of laser materials are developed for different colors. So this is a very good example for semiconducting device for laser. See, this is the schematic diagrams for this is a only a pure silicon, and where this is pure silicon and doping by antimony, arsenic, phosphorus that are having plus 5 oxidation stage, and silicon is having plus 4, and this boron, aluminium and gallium these are having plus 3 oxidation state. So antimony, arsenic and phosphorus while doping in silicon, then there will be one extra electron. You can say this is the N type, and that is shown in here where Sb antimony is doped here. P type when doping with boron means doping with less oxidation state atoms. So due to this boron there will be one extra acceptor impurity creates a hole. There is a hole. So this is a P type semiconductor. So generally there are two types of semiconductor, N type and P type. Based on this many types of devices are classified further. So at here you can see this is the silicon +4, this is the arsenic in +5, there is one extra conduction electron, and in the boron there is one extra hole. Also this is the pictorial view of N type silicon with donor arsenic and P type silicon with acceptor boron. So you can say that is boron is an acceptor impurity and arsenic, phosphorus, antimony is a donor impurity. In normal stage, when there is no any electrical field applied, there are some holes, some electron, there is free electron and hole is there. By applying electric field, then the electron current flows in this -2 plus direction and hole current flows to the +2 minus direction. So in the semiconductor device you have to know the direction of the current. So as all of you know that valence band and conduction band, valence band has lower energy levels and conduction band has higher energy level. Extra hole layer formed on just above the valence band, and between them there is the Fermi level. This is the diagram for schematic energy band representation of extrinsic semiconductor with A donor ions and B acceptor ions. As you have seen this diagram, this is for donor and acceptor. This is that energy band diagram for that figure. For donor ions, the acceptor layer is just below the conduction band, and for acceptor that is just above the valence band. Okay, you have to keep in mind this, where is this acceptor ion layer is forming, where is this donor ion layer is forming. So this is the one example shows the where semiconductor is application of semiconductor in the computers. Computers has some basic functions like input device, input or memory, logic, control and output. These 5 functions. In input which accepts information. The input can be in the form of computer cards, magnetic tapes, video, keyboard, display units or voice activation. These are the inputs. But in memory, generally the which stores information. The information can be stored on semiconductor chips. Okay, and is referred to as a part of the computer hardware. Generally these semiconductor chips are the computer hardware. Then logic, which process information. This processing which also is accomplished on semiconductor chips allows computer to process calculation very quickly and accurately. So basically the idea or aim to give this example how semiconductor device are using in digital technology, or you can say in computer or in any laptop, mobile device. There are many chips are using on which some memory that store information, and some display magnetic tapes, and these things basically depends on the semiconductor devices, or you can say chips or diodes, transistor. Basically these are the devices used in this technology. And fourth one is a control which regulates the information within the computer's programming instruction, commonly are referred to as the computer software. And in the output which feeds information to users, output device includes display, magnetic tapes and computer cards as well as printers. The ability to store large amounts of information on semiconductor chips has led to significant improvements in computer performance in recent years. Okay, and then This is the one example of technology where semiconductor device is used. And now I'm going to tell all of you that how semiconductor technology evolved by replacing vacuum tubes with solid state transistors to large scale integration on semiconductor device. There are some steps like in the first iterations, vacuum tubes to solid state device, then device to the chip, which was basically the first level of miniaturization. And then next step was to combine multiple transistors and other components on the same chip. And then the fourth and fifth iterations involve the use of semiconductor technology for memory functions, replacing ferrite cores. And the sixth and the latest iteration focused on greater complexity and large scale integration. So this is the evolution of semiconductor technology. And this one another I have used for the advantage of the multi-layer ceramics technology for multi-chip carriers include that includes reduction in the number of interconnections, which lowers cost and improves reliability. This is the very important parameter, that reduction in the number of interconnections which lowers the cost of this is basically depends on miniaturizations. Reduction in total wiring length, which increases speed and thus improves performance, allows allowance for very large scale integration, that is also known as VLSI technology, very large scale integration, VLSI. Nowadays a lot of research is going on this VLSI with multi-chip modules. Increased heat dissipation with auxiliary heating designs. So these are some advantages for multi-chip carriers. And this slide I am going to tell you about that generally these direct band gap and indirect band gap semiconductors, that depends on the that k is the momentum and energy level, that is Eg equals to h nu. When there is a direct transfer from valence band to conduction band or conduction band to valence band, so that is a direct band gap transfer, means there is no any difference between the valence band and conduction band in respect to momentum k. For indirect band gap semiconductors, there is the conduction band is slightly shifted from this valence band with some momentum k. So it takes long time to recombine, or you can say conduction band to valence band. Generally, and one another phenomena that you have to know that initially I have shown a Venn diagram. In this there are perfect horizontal lines. Generally this is not in the case. Generally this is not the real case. Venn diagrams are generally in this, according to this. There are, we can say that E is proportional to the k square. Parabolic curve. There is parabolic curve between this Venn diagram. You have to know that there is no any perfect horizontal lines. This is in the parabolic. Okay, so please keep in mind that what is direct band gap transistor, direct band gap semiconductor, what is indirect band gap semiconductors, and what are how this Venn diagram are plotted. You have to keep in mind this. Now there are some example of semiconductor material: this indium antimonide, germanium, silicon, gallium arsenide, gallium phosphide, silicon carbide, gallium nitride, zinc. There are many laser materials are forming by these semiconductor devices. And one another important relation with wavelength and energy gap, Eg in electron volt and wavelength in micrometer. There is relation with lambda to Eg is lambda equals to 1.24 divided by Eg. So if you are given any energy gap, you can calculate lambda, or if lambda is given, you can calculate the Ag of that semiconductor material. So you can see that in the visible region there are silicon carbide and gallium phosphide laser materials or semiconductor devices, and in the infrared there are indium antimonide, germanium, silicon, gallium arsenide is there, and in the UV there are gallium nitride and zinc sulfide semiconductor material are there. So this is the basic relation with lambda and energy gap Eg with a factor of 1.24. Okay, thank you all. In next class we will discuss about some ceramic superconductors and some heating element I will going to describe.